Welcome back to Dream Fish Keeping, where fish dreams come true. I can't wait to show you guys the project that we're working on today. I just set this up about a month ago, and it's the biggest project I've ever done, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. Let me know what you guys think of this project. How did I do? Give me a rating, 1 to 10. It's just on the other side of this wall. Let's get started. So I put this 100-gallon stock tank in the corner here, and it's worked out perfectly. The lights I had before on a previous setup, and I just super glued them to the back, and I'm hoping that that'll produce enough light for floating plants. Looking right now, I might be able to get away with it. And then we have this canister filter, which these are very expensive, very pricey. This is the exact one that I'm working with. I think it was rated for around 150 gallon. The thing about this particular canister filter is that it cost me $35. If you are on a budget and trying to put together one of these projects, the number one thing I can tell you to do is go on Facebook Marketplace, filter the search so that it says local pickup, and that'll be what's local to you. The only thing was, and the catch was, and why the owner was getting rid of it, was that it did not come with the intake and outtake tubes, filter heads. There was even a clip that clips the end of it onto here to make sure that it doesn't leak. None of that came with it, and when I realized that, I was ready for a little DIY. This worked out better than I even expected it to be quite honest. I went to Home Depot, and for 10 bucks, I got 10 feet of this tube, and I didn't even have to put anything on the ends of the tubes. Since the fish that I'll have in here are so big and not breeding, I don't have anything to worry about as far as getting sucked up into the filter. And then in the back, I have an air pump, which is above the water level. That's to preserve it in the case something goes wrong. And as you can see, I've got 4 sponge filters that were already cycled from previous tanks to help get this tank up to speed when I'd first gotten it. These rocks down here are rocks I found on my property. Simple as that. I did boil them for 15 minutes. I didn't want to deal with any problems from the outside, so I boiled them. I do have a heater in this tank down at the bottom. I have it set to 74. I know that the people who breed goldfish like to keep them at 75 degrees, but you also don't necessarily need a heater for goldfish, depending on how cool or how warm your room is. Goldfish do fall into the category of what people commonly refer to as cold water fish. So this little guy is Chocolate. As you can see, Chocolate is not chocolate colored at all. He's bright orange. But when I saw Chocolate in the tank, he was one of the biggest fish in there, and he did stand out because of how brown colored he was. There was no orange on his entire body. Came to find out that goldfish actually can change color based on things in their environment, including stress. He was one of the larger fish in the tank, so he may have been there longer than the others and had experienced severe stress for a longer period of time. But as you can see, he's very happy and healthy now and may or may not get some friends. Leave me a comment and let me know if he should have tank mates and what they should be. Let me know. I'll be reading the comments and responding to them. So the plants that we're going to test in here to see if they'll grow, I've got a few different types. I've got frogbit, which I do see some growth on right here, which seems like a good sign. There's some Pogostemon stellatus octopus, if I'm saying that right. You can see it down in here. It's this stringier plant. I've only ever grown it in substrate, so we're going to see how that goes. Then I've got this plant that was sent to me as an extra in an order from something else, and it was a mystery plant, so I don't know exactly what this is, and I'm not good enough with plants to be able to identify it. So if somebody can tell me what this is in the comments, that would be a huge help. I really like it, and it was growing up out of the water in another tank I had. But I did float it, and it was working as a floating plant, so I'm going to see how it does in here. And then the last type of plant I have in here are called Taiwan lilies. I've never had them, but I liked the idea of them, and I'm hoping Chocolate doesn't get hungry and decide to eat them, because goldfish are known for eating plants. And we're going to see what goldfish will really go for when they've got a little buffet here. I've heard too many horror stories about duckweed to go crazy with that just yet, although I really do like that viral trend of making a little portal to feed your fish through the duckweed. I think that's very cool. This up here is a spider plant I got from Home Depot for I think 13 bucks maybe. It wasn't expensive. The reason I got this plant, well, there was 2 reasons. One, I was told that you can put that entire plant underwater into your substrate and it will grow. I haven't tried that, but that's That's why I have it set up the way I have it. And the second reason is because I have a cat and his favorite thing to do is eat houseplants. So I had to figure out, how can I finally keep a houseplant? I've wanted to for so long that would be safe if he did get to it and eat it. He did get to it. He did some good work there. He hasn't touched it since the first time. He had a little slip and fall, and he doesn't like to get wet, so he's left it alone since. This little breeder box turned planter, I guess. This dirt was just the dirt left over from the plant when I took it out of its dirt. I planted it in here, and my idea is to plant seeds. I don't know if they'll grow. I don't have direct light on them. I don't know much about that at all. So if you could leave me a comment or suggestions on what exactly I should do with this planter box, I'll get right to work. I do have the lights on a timer. This is an old-fashioned one. It just goes on and off where those little notches are. And I have it set for an 8-hour cycle. This is important if you want to do things like grow plants. Chocolate doesn't need 8 hours of light. He doesn't mind whether he just gets a little bit of natural light here and there. He's fine with that. But if I want to have floating plants, which will help deal with ammonia, I have to have enough light to grow them. So I'm hoping, and I'm gonna test these lights for you guys right on video. So we will see if these lights, just 2 of them, are enough to grow floating plants in a 100-gallon Rubbermaid tote. Another thing I'll mention is that Rubbermaid does have other size totes, and they're very thick plastic. I mean, they don't really leak. I know some people have problems down there. There's a drain. If you had this outside for a horse or something and you wanted to drain the water easily, because you couldn't really lift it and flip it over, it weighs way too much. So they will drain it from there. The pressure of the water on that drain down there can cause a slow leak, which can get worse over time. So what I did, I just aquarium sealed the outside of that drain plug. That was good enough and has held so far. We'll keep an eye on that too. And if it leaks, like I said earlier, you guys will be the first to know. I wouldn't want it to happen to somebody else, but I feel very confident in this setup, and I've had it now for about 3 or 4 weeks. Other than the massive amounts of filtration, which I could add more, I don't know if it would be overkill. I guess it depends on what you guys think I should throw in this pond, but I do have this little cleaner. You can see the cat over there. Hey, bud. This is made by Nexttime, and I just had it because I wanted to try different products that were more inexpensive. I think this only costs $30 on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description just so you guys know what the actual number is in case that's not right. It has attachments that attach to the bottom depending on the height. So this is a pretty tall tub. I think it's 26 inches. I'll have as much in the description as I can think to put in there as far as this setup goes. But this, since there's no substrate, I can just go around and pick things up off the bottom if it kind of gets trapped and doesn't make it all the way over to the filter. And Chocolate doesn't mind at all. He's used to me doing it. And that's it. It does drip a little bit after use. It just fills up with water, so it has a suction effect, but comes back out at the end. Just heads up. And one other thing I could mention, I haven't used this feature a whole lot, but these lights have nighttime mode. Although you have to manually come over here and click it, unlike some lights these days where you can use an app. They're right here. I cannot wait to open these guys.